Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you, boys and girls? I hope you have a great day yesterday. You had a great day yesterday. Did anybody go outside and play in the rain? I know this one and this one over here did. Went and had fun and hung out for a little bit. I didn't. I was working all day yesterday. I'm very, very excited to see you guys this afternoon. I hope everybody gets on so we can see your sweet faces and how big you guys have all gotten. Okay, so we are back to our Disney section again, right? We're going to do that all week. Wyatt has picked from my classics Disney book for today. And you want to tell them what story we're reading?
Pinocchio.
Pinocchio! It is a classic. We've all watched the movie, I'm sure, or read a book some way, some form about Pinocchio, right? Okay, so we're just going to get right to it, okay? Excuse you.
I love you.
Oh, okay. All right, I gotta show them a picture. Pinocchio. Sorry, Wyatt. Excuse your face. Long ago, in a little village, a woodcarver named Geppetto made a wooden puppet. It looked so much like a real boy that Geppetto gave the puppet a name, Pinocchio. As Geppetto happily danced around his workshop with his puppet, a tiny traveler named Jiminy Cricket slipped inside. The cricket needed a warm place to sleep that night. He watched as Geppetto set the puppet down and gazed out the window at the night sky. I wish that my little Pinocchio might be a real boy, he said. Soon Geppetto and Jiminy Cricket fell fast asleep. See Geppetto, or see him all tucked in snug. Before long, a shimmering light filled the workshop and woke up Jiminy Cricket. It was the Blue Fairy. She waved a magic wand over Pinocchio, and the puppet came to life. But he was not yet a real boy. The Blue Fairy explained that someday, if he was brave, truthful, and unselfish, he would become real. Then, knowing Pinocchio would need help, the Blue Fairy made Jiminy Cricket the puppet's conscience. The cricket would help him choose between right and wrong. Back up. Thank you. When Geppetto awoke, he was delighted to discover that Pinocchio could walk and talk. The old man wanted to be a good father, so he sent Pinocchio to school. Along the way, Pinocchio met a fox named Honest John and a cat named Gideon. Pinocchio told them where he was going. "School?" said Honest John. "Then you haven't heard of the easy road to success. I'm speaking, my boy, of the theater." You need to look, please. I see pictures. Do you think it's a good idea to skip school to go to the theater, to the movies?
No.
Honest John took Pinocchio to Stromboli, a man who owned a traveling puppet show. That night, Pinocchio sang and danced in Stromboli's show. The crowd cheered and threw money onto the stage, but Jiminy Cricket, who was in the audience, was worried. Later, Stromboli locked Pinocchio in a cage. "This will be your home," he said. "You will make lots of money for me." Pinocchio and Jiminy Cricket were very upset. How would the puppet ever escape? Luckily, at that moment, the Blue Fairy arrived. But when she asked Pinocchio why he'd missed school, he lied. His nose grew a little. Each time she asked Pinocchio a question, he lied. With each lie, his nose grew longer and longer. The Blue Fairy reminded him to always tell the truth if he wanted to become a real boy. "Oh, I will," Pinocchio promised. The Blue Fairy fixed his nose and set him free. On their way home, Pinocchio and Jiminy Cricket ran into Honest John again. This time, Honest John convinced Pinocchio to go to Pleasure Island. Jiminy Cricket warned Pinocchio not to go, but the puppet just wanted to have fun. He didn't think about Geppetto or that he might get worried when Pinocchio didn't come home.
I said not so much.
Do you think your parents would be worried if you didn't come home? I know I'd be worried if my boys didn't come home, right? On Pleasure Island, Pinocchio made friends with a boy named Lampwick. Together they explored the island. There were rides and treats, and boys could do anything they wanted. But after a few days of having fun, Lampwick and Pinocchio sprouted ears and a tail. They were turning into donkeys. When Lampwick changed completely into a donkey, Jiminy Cricket knew that he had to get Pinocchio off the island fast. Pinocchio agreed. He was ready to go home if they could find a way off the island. Look at them, turning into donkeys and tails and ears and whatnots. Ruh-roh. Pinocchio and Jiminy Cricket finally escaped. But when they arrived at Geppetto's house, it was empty. Just then, a letter fell from the sky. It explained that Geppetto had gone to look for Pinocchio. While he was at sea, the woodcarver's ship had been swallowed by a whale named Monstro. Geppetto was living in Monstro's belly. I'm going to go find him, Pinocchio said to Jiminy Cricket. Pinocchio ran until he got to the ocean. Then he jumped in. Jiminy Cricket was right behind him. The pair began to search for Geppetto. Do you see the rock attached to his tail?
Mm-hmm.
Because, remember, Pinocchio is still made of wood, and wood floats. So he had to weigh himself down so he could stick to the bottom, right? Meanwhile, in Monstro's stomach, Geppetto was fishing. The whale had been asleep for days and had not swallowed any fish, which meant Geppetto had nothing to eat. Still, all the woodcarver could think of was Pinocchio. Nearby on the ocean, Pinocchio had found Monstro. As the whale awoke and swallowed a school of fish, he sucked Pinocchio into his mouth as well. Moments later, Geppetto pulled up a tuna onto the deck of his ship, with Pinocchio clutched to its tail. "Father!" Pinocchio cried. "I'm so happy to see you," Geppetto said, hugging his son. "I came to save you," said Pinocchio, but Geppetto told him there was no way to escape. Nothing could get past Monstro's big teeth. Pinocchio had an idea. They would build a huge fire with lots of smoke so the whale would sneeze and open his mouth. Can you imagine going fishing and pulling up a little boy? What? As the fire grew, Pinocchio and Geppetto climbed onto a raft. Monstro's mouth opened and the whale sneezed them into the ocean. Achoo! "We made it!" shouted Pinocchio. Monstro was furious. He chased after the raft and smashed into it. The raft broke into pieces, knocking Geppetto out. Pinocchio grabbed his father and swam. When Geppetto awoke, he was on the beach, but Pinocchio was nowhere in sight. Jiminy Cricket found the wooden puppet lying among the rocks. Geppetto carried his son home in his arms and convinced he had lost Pinocchio forever.
No.
Back in the woodshop, Geppetto sat Pinocchio on the bed and wept. Wept means crying. Cried. Then the big fairy appeared. "Awake," the blue fairy said, waving her wand. Pinocchio had proven himself to be brave, truthful, and unselfish. Pinocchio opened his eyes. He had become a real boy. "Father, I'm alive!" he shouted. "This calls for a celebration," cried Geppetto. He and Pinocchio danced happily. Geppetto's wish had come true at last. What a fun book. Kind of fun story about a family being, a family being made, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I like that Pinocchio decided to be honest and truthful and brave and save his dad, right? Even though he was probably tired and didn't want, to keep swimming, but he did. And that's awesome. So, I hope you guys liked my story. And I cannot wait to see you guys this afternoon. I miss you all. I miss all your sweet faces. I miss your laughs. I miss you guys. I hope you guys have a great day. And I will see you later. Bye.